If your new home's air conditioner runs all day and the upstairs is still 82 degrees in July, you probably blamed the Texas heat. You probably blamed yourself for setting the thermostat too low. You did not blame the builder. That is exactly what the builder was counting on. In this investigation, we are going to expose a systematic engineering decision made by the largest home builders in the United States. A decision that saves the builder $2,000 per house, destroys your compressor in 10 years, and leaves you paying higher energy bills for the entire life of your mortgage. This is not an accident. This is the business plan. The practice is called HVAC undersizing, and it is happening inside new construction homes from Florida to Arizona to Nevada right now on a scale that the industry has never been forced to answer for publicly. There is a federal calculation standard that has existed for decades. It is called Manual J. It is an engineering protocol published by the Air Conditioning Contractors of America. It accounts for your home's square footage, ceiling height, window area, wall insulation, roof color, local climate data, and the number of people living in the structure. It produces a precise tonnage requirement, the exact cooling capacity your home needs to maintain comfort and remove humidity on the hottest days of the year. A proper Manual J calculation takes a trained engineer or technician 2 to 4 hours to complete. In a properly built home, you complete it before the equipment is ever ordered. They skip it, not sometimes, routinely, systematically. Because the largest production home builders in the country, D.R. Horton, Lennar, Pult Group, Taylor Morrison, pay their HVAC subcontractors by the house, not by the hour. The faster the subcontractor installs, the more money they make. A proper Manual J-based system takes 4 days to design and install correctly. The expedited rule of thumb installation takes 2 days. That 2-day difference represents the gap between a system that will last 15 to 20 years and a system that will burn out in 10. Instead of Manual J, production builders use a rule of thumb. 1 ton of cooling per 500 square feet of floor space. That formula comes from nowhere credible. It does not account for your climate zone. It does not account for your attic insulation. It does not account for the fact that your west-facing windows in Phoenix are absorbing solar radiation for 6 hours every afternoon. It is a shortcut dressed up as a standard. The result is a system that is 15 to 25% smaller than your home actually requires. In a 3,000 square foot house, that means you needed a 4-ton system. They installed a 3-ton system. That 1 missing ton is the reason your upstairs bedroom is 10 degrees warmer than your thermostat setting. That 1 missing ton is the reason your air conditioner runs continuously on a 102-degree afternoon and still cannot bring the temperature down. That 1 missing ton is the reason your energy bills are running $200 a month when a properly sized system would cost $120. The 2009 International Energy Conservation Code was supposed to require Manual J calculations for all new residential HVAC installations. The code language said Manual J, or other approved heating and cooling calculation methodologies. That phrase became the legal escape hatch that production builders drove through for 15 years. Their lobbyists and code compliance teams argued successfully that their rule of thumb method was an approved equivalent. City inspectors, overwhelmed and conducting 15-minute walkthroughs on complex structures, were in no position to challenge that argument. The undersized system got its permit. The drywall went up. The homeowner moved in. Subsequent updates to the International Energy Conservation Code have worked to tighten that loophole in Section R403.7, with the 2024 edition most explicitly centralizing Manual J loads, Manual S equipment selection, and Manual D duct layouts as requirements in plan review. But code adoption is state by state. Enforcement is inspector by inspector. And the binding arbitration clauses buried in your builder's purchase contract make it nearly impossible to challenge a code violation in court. Lennar has faced multiple class action lawsuits in Florida courts accusing the company of installing defective HVAC systems in new construction homes. Lennar has consistently denied liability in these cases, and they kept building. Now, let us talk about what happens inside your equipment, because the undersizing is not just a comfort problem, it is a mechanical execution sentence for your compressor. A compressor is designed to run in cycles. It turns on, it cools the space to set point, it turns off, it rests. That rest period is not optional. It is when the lubricating oil redistributes inside the compressor. It is when the electrical windings cool down. It is when the refrigerant pressure equalizes across the system. An undersized compressor does not get that rest. On a hot day in Florida or Texas or Nevada, it runs continuously for hours. The oil breaks down under sustained heat. The windings overheat. The refrigerant charge becomes unstable. The system that should last 15 to 20 years is now burning through its mechanical life at double the designed rate. The evaporator coil compounds the problem. When a coil is undersized relative to the home's latent load, the moisture load in the air, it cannot remove enough humidity before the thermostat is satisfied on temperature. The air feels cold enough, but it is still saturated. Indoor relative humidity climbs above 55%. Above 60%. Your thermostat reads 72 degrees, but your body feels 78. You lower the set point to 70. The compressor runs even longer. The coil reaches its dew point and freezes over. Ice forms on the evaporator. Airflow drops. The compressor works harder against the restriction. You now have ice inside your air handler, a compressor running against a starved load, and a $5,000 to $12,000 catastrophic failure approaching somewhere between year 8 and year 12. Meanwhile, your builder's warranty, typically 2 years on mechanical systems, expired in year 2. The manufacturer's warranty covers the parts, not the labor, not the refrigerant recovery charge, not the crane fee if your condenser is on the roof, not the disposal of the old equipment. A compressor burnout in year 10 on a 3-ton Goodman unit in a Florida subdivision will cost you $8,000 to $12,000 out of pocket on a home that is still carrying 20 years of mortgage debt. Industry reliability data has indicated that new construction HVAC installs may fail at significantly higher rates than retrofit installations in existing homes. Building science researchers studying new construction subdivisions in Florida and Texas have found that a substantial share of homes are undersized by more than 20%. These were not old homes. These were new construction homes in active subdivisions. Your mortgage is 30 years. Your compressor is engineered to survive 10 to 15. When an entire subdivision is built by the same production builder in the same 6-month window, every home receives the same undersized equipment from the same low-bid subcontractor on the same expedited 2-day timeline. In 10 to 12 years, every compressor on that street will approach the end of its stress-shortened lifespan simultaneously. The neighborhood will not fail one house at a time. It will fail in a wave. Every homeowner will be competing for the same overloaded HVAC technicians in the same summer. Industry estimates put the shortfall of HVAC technicians at over 100,000 unfilled positions, a gap that is projected to grow in coming years. Replacement costs will be at peak demand pricing. The builder will be long gone. So what do? You stop accepting the rule of thumb. You start demanding the calculation. If you are buying new construction, you have one moment of leverage before the drywall covers everything. Use it. Before you close, demand a copy of the manual J load calculation for your specific home, not a template, not a generic subdivision document, your home's orientation, your lot's exposure, your window specifications. If the builder cannot produce it, that is your answer. A legitimate Manual J report is a multi-page engineering document with room-by-room heat gain and loss tables. A one-page spreadsheet with a square footage formula is not a Manual J calculation. Hire an independent HVAC engineer, not the builder's preferred inspector, to review the installed equipment against that calculation before closing. This service typically costs $200 to $500. The potential avoidance is $8,000 to $12,000 in premature replacement costs plus 20 years of inflated energy bills. Ask specifically for the total tonnage installed and compare it against your home's conditioned square footage, climate zone, and ceiling height. In a hot and humid climate, Florida, coastal Texas, Louisiana, the Gulf Coast, assume you need more capacity than the builder's formula provides, not less. A one-story home in Tampa with 9-foot ceilings, standard attic insulation, and west-facing windows likely needs closer to 1 ton per 400 square feet, not 1 ton per 500. After you move in, get your system tested. A qualified technician with a combustion analyzer and airflow hood can verify whether your equipment is delivering its rated tonnage and whether your ductwork is sized to move the right volume of air. Undersized ducts compound an undersized unit. Many production homes have both problems simultaneously. If your system is undersized, you have 2 options. You can upsize the equipment, a new condenser and evaporator coil, at a cost of $8,000 to $15,000 installed. Or you can add a whole home dehumidifier to the existing system, which costs $1,500 to $3,000 installed and will at minimum solve the humidity problem and reduce compressor runtime, extending the life of the undersized unit. Neither option should have been necessary. Both are cheaper than waiting for the compressor to fail. For existing homeowners already living with an undersized system, the signs are specific. Upper floors 5 to 10 degrees warmer than lower floors on peak summer days. Thermostat set to 72, but the air feels warmer and sticky. Your system runs for more than 20 continuous minutes without reaching set point. Your summer energy bills exceed $150 per month in a home under 3,000 square feet. These are not quirks of your climate. These are engineering deficits. Your home is the largest asset you will ever own. The mechanical system that controls its temperature, its humidity, and ultimately the moisture content of its walls and structure is not a luxury feature. It is a structural defense mechanism. When it is undersized, your walls absorb humidity. Your ducts grow mold. Your framing dries and contracts unevenly. The damage is invisible and cumulative, and it accelerates every summer the system cannot keep up. Built to code means built to the minimum. In the case of HVAC, it may not even mean that. Stop accepting the rule of thumb. Start demanding the calculation. Stop trusting the builder's comfort guarantee. Start trusting the engineering. The Manual J exists. The standard is clear. The only question is whether anyone in your transaction was willing to follow it. Demand proof that someone was.